Stop running down the meh and mundane hallways of life and tap into the magical. My name is Michelle Shutter. I am a life and leadership coach for women and host of the Life Coaching Classroom podcast. I'd like to welcome you to Life Coaching Classroom, where we walk with you in the hallways of life so you can align to the beautiful expansiveness of your true self through reconnection, reinvention, and rejuvenation. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to class. Hey, welcome back to episode 71 on the Life Coaching Classroom podcast. Today, we are going to dive into discovering your life path. And that is something that generally comes up when we begin to ask those questions of like, is this all there is to life? My life doesn't have any meaning. What else could I be doing? Like all of that is connected to finding your life path. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more. But if you are a first-time listener, welcome to the Life Coaching Classroom podcast. If you are here again listening, I just so value you and want to acknowledge you and just congratulate you for investing in yourself and wanting to perhaps take your growth to a new level with this podcast. My name is Michelle Shutter. I am a life and leadership coach for women. I am the creator of this podcast, Life Coaching Classroom podcast, and the creator of the Life Coaching Classroom. So if you have not checked out my website yet, you may want to do that. There's lots of goodies and resources there to support you with your growth and your journey and discovering this life path. So some people ask, really, if you had to break down the Life Coaching Classroom, like what is your focus? And I would have to say that the focus is really helping women to reconnect with their heart of their true self, and to do that without sacrificing love, money, family, freedom, or fulfillment. Because so many times women think that we can't have both and it has to be either or. And so let's get back to the essence of who we are without sacrificing those values and things that are just so near and dear to us. So again, welcome to this episode. So I asked you before, there's a point that many women come to in their life, and that might be you if you're listening, where you ask those questions of, is this all there is to life? Is there more? I don't have meaning in my life. Nothing feels fulfilling in my life. And if you're all of those questions, right, are just a sign that your heart and soul is nudging you, it's pulling you, it's pushing you in a sense to seek more, to seek that meaning, to seek that fulfillment, because what you're doing now is not completely aligned with who you truly are. And it's pretty typical over time where women can get into that almost that burnout, that overdrive. And sometimes it's a type A women, but I'm going to tell you it isn't always type A women, but we operate in a lot of that masculine energy. And that masculine energy is right, that push, that drive, that hustle, the excelling, the go, go, go. It's, crossing things off the list. We get into controlling. We also have this need to be right. And all of this, we begin to actually define our worthiness based on the success that we're having. So if we are not in that hustle mode, if we are not in that push mode, in that drive mode, it's really challenging for us to think anything different. And very rarely when we are in that masculine energy do we hit the pause button. Now, don't get me wrong. Masculine energy does serve its purpose, but many times as women, we don't disconnect from that energy, or we don't balance it with the feminine energy. We are in so much masculine energy that we sometimes forget how to tap into the feminine energy. Now, as I mentioned, that masculine energy serves its purpose, but so does the feminine energy. And we cannot neglect that energy. There has to be some fluidity between the energies. Now, when we're using our feminine energy, we're thinking that, it's all about like trusting ourselves and flow and receiving. And when you're in that feminine energy, you ask for what you want, and from a place where you're standing in your power, from that place of like unconditional love. and we really go into, the heart over mind. Now, the thing is, when I say some of that, if you are very strong in your masculine energy, you almost poo-poo it. You almost think like, no, I don't need to do that, right? And so when we want to start to trust ourselves more, or when we want to ask for what we want more, it creates almost a disconnect in us. And I want you to know that like you don't have to be the top of your career or be in the top of your industry to experience too much masculine energy. If you are a mom, you also experience a lot of masculine energy because motherhood requires that. Yes, there is this feminine side where you are nurturing and you're compassionate and you're so loving with your children. But the masculine part of it is like we're managing schedules, we're managing routines and the meals and planning and shopping and the gifts and everything that goes with the house is all falling under that masculine energy. So it makes perfect sense when you slip into a place of overwhelm or burnout or you're wanting to search for more because it isn't at the heart of who you truly are. The life that you're living, what you're doing right now is serving a purpose. And perhaps that purpose is to reveal to you that you are meant for something different. You are meant to have more fulfillment in your life. And really what this is, the search for is really, the search is for reconnecting with your heart, reconnecting with your true self. And while it may sound all good to be able to like reconnect back to that essence of who you are, there's a lot of fear that generates during these decisions, during these moments, because we fear that it's going to be at the expense of, as I mentioned, love or money or family or freedom or fulfillment. But here's the thing. If you're seeking meaning, if you're seeking fulfillment in some other way, you're already sacrificing it because you're not aligned with your true self and what you want. So all of that leads to really just like discovering your life path. And discovering your life path is about following your heart and reconnecting to the true you, not the person that everybody else thinks you should do, not all the roles and all the masks and hats that you should be wearing based on other people's viewpoints. It's really pulling back all that and getting to the heart of who you are. Now, discovering that life path is a full lifelong journey. It isn't something that happens overnight. It is something that certainly gives you great clarity and direction, but just know that it's not perfect and it's going to change. It's going to shift. However, if you can have some of these foundational pieces in place, it makes it so much easier. So I'm going to give you just 5 different things to consider when you are looking at discovering your life path. And some people will call it, like your purpose and things. And I think of it more just like as a lifelong journey. And you're on this path and things are going to come across the path. Sometimes you're going to detour on the path. Sometimes the path is going to be paved nicely so you can move through it quickly. Sometimes it's going to be uneven and a little bit unsteady. And so you're going to have to slow down. But all of this contributes to really finding that fulfillment and a deeper meaning that you are seeking out of life. So one of the things you want to do when you are discovering your life path is that you want to get clear on your unconditioned gifts. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean the gifts that just totally light you up, that make you feel good, that you could give to other people or give to the world and you wouldn't even have to receive money for it, right? Like it just feels so good to do it versus the conditioned gift. And I almost want to put gift in quotes because when you're conditioned, it isn't fully aligned with who you are. That conditioned gift comes from other people's expectations of you, other people's thinking like you should do it this way or you should be this in life, right? So all that conditioning begins to build up and it really hovers over and sometimes covers our true gifts. And we want to get back to that place where we are connecting with the gifts that are fully aligned with us. Number two, then, is to recognize your interferences. Just know that along this path, you're going to have things that are going to come up. Things are going to interfere with your journey. Things are going to block you in some ways. There are going to be times where you're going to be like, I'm getting off this path. Like, I don't even, this isn't me, right? The one thing we have to recognize is everybody has interferences. Everybody has blocks. How you want to respond to those blocks or react to those blocks, one is going to serve you better than the other, is going to really move you forward in a different way. Consider those interferences or those blocks or those challenges as a way to identify what you do want and what you don't want on this life path. Allow it to give you some clarity. Don't use it as an excuse to take you out of the game or you know what, I knew this wouldn't work out. This wasn't that's not me anyway. No, don't play into that. Don't give it your energy. You really want to think about this in terms of just getting clarity. What do I want and what don't I want? The third thing is you really want to utilize your life expressions. And that also goes back, to the gifts in a way that you have something to contribute. And when you are not contributing that, your life doesn't feel fulfilled. It doesn't have that meaning. Yes, there could be other things that potentially in your life that are bringing fulfillment and meaning, but when you are seeking something that just lights you up on a daily basis, know that these contributions are influenced by your an emotional plane, a mental plane, a physical plane. Okay, all of that comes together to really give you some clarity as well. The fourth thing is that you want to fall from your head to your heart. And going on this journey on discovering your life path is about following your heart. The heart never lies. The heart is there, but the problem is that we don't trust it. We think we have to be all up in our head and that we have to always overanalyze things to the point where it takes us out of our game, it paralyzes us. But yet when we can tap down into our heart, when we can fall out of our head into our heart, there's new wisdom that really is whispered to us in a whole new way. When we trust ourselves, when we trust our intuition, we know that this life path, discovering this and being on this journey is going to be forever. And yet our head, our ego mind wants to get in there and be like, but like, I want it to happen now. I want it to, I don't have enough time. And all of that comes from a place of fear. The heart doesn't have that within it. So when you can come back into your heart and fall out of your head, that will serve you so much at a deeper level when it comes to discovering your life path. And then the fifth thing is once you get clear on these unconditioned gifts and you recognize your interferences, your challenges, your blocks, and you know that, okay, this is, how I should be expressing myself and what I have to contribute. And I'm going to tap more into my heart. That when you bring all those pieces together, that's when you begin to align with your life path. And that life path then doesn't feel as bumpy. It doesn't feel as uneven. It begins to smooth itself out. There are still going to be times where it's going to be bumpy. There's still going to be times where there's going to be gravel on the path and it's going to be hard to move through. There's going to be times too, though, where it is this beautifully paved path and you take a moment and you look around and you're just like, wow, this is amazing because I came into alignment with it. Now, I kind of just gave you like this overview, but one of the things I love to do with my clients is to get really clear to specifically give you the characteristics and the qualities and the interferences and the potential blocks and challenges that you face on your life path. That is something you're interested in and want to know more. Feel free to message me at hello@lifecoachingclassroom.com. That's email, or message me on any social media platform, because when you have this alignment blueprint, when you know exactly what your those unconditioned gifts are. Sometimes we forget over time, like we've operated in this way for so long that sometimes we forget what our unconditioned gifts are. When you know what challenges and blocks and interferences ahead of time, guess what? Your path doesn't become as high or as uneven in those bumps. It stays more manageable. When you know exactly how you're supposed to express yourself and the contributions from a emotional, mental, and physical level, like things just come together for you in a whole different way. And of course, as I mentioned, all of this is about following your heart. If you want this blueprint, if you want this document specifically for yourself, make sure you message me or send me an email at hello@lifecoachingclassroom.com, because when you have this tool in your backpack, life is a game changer for you. I can't even begin to tell you what a difference it made for me when I became clear on exactly what this life path was for me. So, biggest takeaway here, and let me just maybe recap here. When you are asking those questions of, is there more? Is there more to my life? Why don't I have any meaning in my life? Where can I find fulfillment? Those are all signs that you are seeking something deeper to discover on your life path. And you can do that by, one, getting clear on your unconditioned gifts, two, recognizing your interferences, your blocks, your challenges. That can be really challenging when you're so close to it. Sometimes you don't always see it because you're the one. Number three, utilizing your life expressions. Four, falling from your head into your heart. And five, aligning with that life path. Because in that alignment process, it's going to feel uncomfortable to begin with, because it's something new that you haven't utilized for such a long time. But when you fully sink into it, it just, like, it feels good. And you know, like you know, like you know. And all of this leads you right back to reconnecting with your true self. And just know that you don't have to do that you can do that without sacrificing. You don't have to sacrifice love, money, freedom, family, or fulfillment in the process of reconnecting back to you. Everybody in your life will benefit from your life path, from you discovering your life path and aligning with it. I can't wait to hear what you are taking away from this episode. I would love for you to just, snap a screenshot of it and post it on social media. Tag me. Let me know what you're taking away. If you are looking to receive your own personalized blueprint on discovering your life path, I would love to support you with that as well. Make sure you reach out at hello@lifecoachingclassroom.com or message me at Michelle Shutter on social media. Have an amazing day. Be an amazing you. And I will see you in class. Take care. Have you joined our monthly unit study? If not, you better head on over and reserve your seat at lifecoachingclassroom.com/unit. The unit study gives you an opportunity to experience life coaching at no charge. Again, register and get all the details at lifecoachingclassroom.com/unit. I do have a favor. Could you take a moment to share this podcast and Life Coaching Classroom with your besties? Perhaps they too are tired of running down the meh and mundane hallways of life. Let's give them a little spark in their day. Finally, I'd be so grateful if you take a minute to review the podcast. The reviews definitely help to spread the podcast to more women. Thank you. I so appreciate you, and I will see you in class.